Escape the Trap: How to Break Free and Think Differently. Written by Ronnie Rowland. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. Life often feels like a relentless cycle, a predictable loop of responsibilities, expectations, and routines. We wake up, go to work, pay bills, and repeat, hoping that someday things will change. But what if the change we long for isn't waiting for us in the future? What if it's locked away in invisible barriers we carry within ourselves? These are the mental, emotional, and societal traps that shape our lives more than we realize. Escape the Trap is more than a guide. It's a call to action for anyone tired of merely surviving. It's for those who feel stuck in a cycle that doesn't fulfill them, who want to rewrite their narrative, and who dream of creating a life that reflects their true potential. This book isn't about adding more to your to-do list or chasing fleeting markers of success. It's about dismantling the walls that confine you and learning to think, live, and grow differently. You'll discover how to identify the invisible forces shaping your choices and challenge the beliefs holding you back. You'll learn to shift your perspective, embrace uncertainty, and harness the power of intentionality to design a life aligned with your deepest values. Through transformative insights, practical tools, and inspiring stories, this book will guide you on a journey from confinement to freedom. The goal isn't just to break free, but to live beyond the trap, embracing growth as a lifestyle, sustaining your freedom, and inspiring others by your example. This isn't a one-time escape, it's an ongoing practice, a way of being that empowers you to thrive no matter what challenges come your way. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Trap We're In. Life often feels like a treadmill. You're running, expending energy, but never getting anywhere meaningful. For many, this cycle is invisible, disguised as normal life. You wake up, go to work, pay bills, and repeat. But deep down, there's a nagging feeling: is this all there is? Welcome to the trap. This chapter explores how societal norms, ingrained habits, and unchallenged beliefs create an invisible cage that confines our potential. Recognizing this trap is the first step to breaking free. The trap is not just one thing, it's a web of factors. It's the societal expectation to achieve, conform, and produce. It's the beliefs you inherit from your environment. Success looks like this. Happiness requires that. Over time, these constructs shape your reality, dictating your actions and decisions without your conscious input. Consider the typical life script. You're told to get an education, find a stable job, buy a house, and save for retirement. At first glance, this seems like a recipe for a good life. But what if this script isn't your script? What if it's a societal default, written without considering your unique desires, talents, or purpose? The trap thrives on these unquestioned defaults. One reason the trap is so powerful is that it's invisible. Like a fish in water, you don't notice the environment you've always lived in. Social conditioning begins early, shaping your identity and worldview. Family, schools, media, and peers all play a role in teaching you what's normal and acceptable. Take, for instance, the notion of security. You're taught to prioritize job stability, even if it means sacrificing passion or growth. Don't rock the boat, they say. Yet, this pursuit of security can lead to stagnation, where you're so focused on safety that you forget to live. Triggers like financial fears, societal pressure, and fear of judgment keep you compliant. These external factors make it easier to stay in the trap, following the crowd rather than questioning the system. For years, I chased what I thought was success. I worked tirelessly, climbing the corporate ladder, hitting every milestone society deemed important. Yet, with each promotion I felt emptier. My health deteriorated, relationships suffered, and joy became a distant memory. It wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I realized I wasn't living my life. I was living someone else's idea of success. I was trapped. This moment of clarity was both painful and liberating. Painful because I saw how much time I'd spent confined by the trap. Liberating because I realized I could choose differently. How do you know you're in the trap? Here are some signs. 1. You feel stuck or unfulfilled. Even when everything looks good on paper, something feels off. You're not excited about life. 2. You're constantly chasing external validation. Whether it's social media likes, promotions, or approval from family, your self-worth depends on others. 3. You're afraid of change. The thought of stepping outside the familiar feels terrifying. 4. You avoid questioning the status quo. You follow routines and traditions without asking if they align with your values. Recognizing these signs is critical. It's the flashlight that illuminates the trap's walls, The trap persists because it serves a purpose, not for you but for the systems around you. Societal systems thrive on conformity. Education systems reward obedience, workplaces favor compliance, and social hierarchies benefit from people staying in their assigned roles. The trap ensures you play your part in keeping the wheels of these systems turning. But here's the truth: these systems don't care about your fulfillment or growth. They're designed to maintain stability, not to help you thrive. To escape, you must prioritize your purpose over their expectations. Meet Sarah, a mid-level manager at a tech company. On paper, she's successful, a six-figure salary, a nice home, and a respected career. But Sarah feels empty. Her days are a blur of meetings, deadlines, and obligations. She tells herself she's working for future happiness, but she can't remember the last time she felt alive. Sarah's story isn't unique. Millions of people live on this hamster wheel, running faster and faster, hoping the next achievement will bring fulfillment. But the truth is, the hamster wheel doesn't stop unless you decide to step off. Escaping the trap begins with a simple but profound realization. The trap isn't real. It's a construct, a set of beliefs and habits that can be dismantled. The first step is to question everything you've taken for granted. Why do you do what you do? Whose approval are you seeking? What would you pursue if fear wasn't a factor? These questions disrupt the autopilot mode and spark self-awareness. Awareness is the key to seeing the walls of your cage. Before we dive into strategies for escape in the next chapter, I want you to start noticing. Pay attention to your routines, thoughts, and decisions. Ask yourself, is this serving me, or is this keeping me trapped? Keep a journal, and jot down moments when you feel confined or compelled to conform. This practice is the first crack in the trap's walls. With each moment of awareness, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. Chapter 2. Seeing the invisible walls. Awareness is the foundation of transformation. You can't escape a trap you don't see. The invisible walls around us are constructed from beliefs, habits, and assumptions we rarely question. In this chapter, we'll shine a light on these walls, understand their origins, and explore how to begin dismantling them. The most powerful traps are the ones you can't see. Invisible walls blend seamlessly into your reality, creating limitations that feel immovable. They're the rules you live by without realizing you're following them. For example, I can't pursue my passion, it's not practical. I need to follow this career path to make my family proud. If I fail, I'll lose everything. These beliefs shape your decisions, often keeping you confined within the boundaries of the status quo. Identifying them is the first step toward liberation. Invisible walls are built over time through social conditioning and personal experiences. As children, we're taught to fit in, follow rules, and avoid risk. These lessons are often rooted in protection. Parents and teachers want to shield us from harm. But as we grow, these protective walls become restrictive. Consider the role of failure. Many people are taught to avoid failure at all costs. This creates a belief that risk is dangerous, leading to a fear of trying anything new. In reality, failure is one of the most effective teachers. Without it, growth and innovation are impossible. For years, I lived with the belief that asking for help was a sign of weakness. This invisible wall kept me from seeking guidance or collaboration. It wasn't until I faced a major challenge, a project too big to handle alone, that I was forced to confront this belief. Reluctantly, I reached out to a mentor. To my surprise, their support not only helped me succeed but also strengthened my confidence. The wall I'd built around self-reliance crumbled, revealing the power of connection and vulnerability. Living within invisible walls comes at a high cost. It limits your potential, stifles creativity, and diminishes fulfillment. When you don't question your beliefs, you operate on autopilot, allowing outdated assumptions to dictate your life. Take Alex, an aspiring artist who spent years working in finance because he believed art wasn't a viable career. His invisible wall, art can't pay the bills, kept him in a job that drained him. It wasn't until a health scare forced him to reevaluate his priorities that he realized his belief wasn't true. Today, Alex runs a successful art studio, proving that breaking down walls can lead to unexpected opportunities. The first step to dismantling invisible walls is to question them. Here's a simple exercise. 1. Identify a limiting belief. Write down a belief that feels restrictive. I'm not good enough to start my own business. 2. Challenge its validity. Ask yourself, is this belief true? What evidence supports it? What evidence contradicts it? 3. Envision alternatives. Imagine how your life might change if you no longer believe this. Meet Lisa, a perfectionist who dreamed of writing a novel but never got past the first chapter. Her invisible wall was the belief that if it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. This mindset paralyzed her creativity and kept her from pursuing her passion. Through questioning, Lisa discovered that her fear of imperfection stemmed from childhood criticism. By reframing failure as a learning opportunity, she gave herself permission to write badly. This shift allowed her to complete her first draft, which became the foundation of a published book. Here are 3 exercises to help you identify and challenge your invisible walls. 1. Pattern recognition. Look for recurring patterns in your life. Are there areas where you feel stuck or frustrated? These patterns often point to underlying beliefs. 2. External perspective. Share your struggles with a trusted friend or mentor. Sometimes others can spot walls you're too close to see. 3. Journaling. Write freely about your fears, goals, and frustrations. Notice recurring themes and question their validity. Imagine the freedom of stepping through a wall that has confined you for years. The possibilities, the relief, and the excitement of exploring uncharted territory await. Each wall you dismantle brings you closer to a life that reflects your true self. Consider Mia, who believed she wasn't good with people and avoided networking opportunities. When she challenged this belief, she discovered that her discomfort stemmed from inexperience, not inability. By practicing small social interactions, Mia built confidence and expanded her professional network, opening doors she never thought possible. This week, focus on identifying one invisible wall in your life. It could be a fear, a belief, or a habit. Write it down, question it, and imagine what life would look like without it. Taking this first step can create a ripple effect, leading to profound change. Chapter 3. The Illusion of Success. Success is one of the most celebrated ideals in modern society. From a young age we are told to strive for it, pursue it, and define our lives by it. But what if the traditional concept of success is a carefully crafted illusion? Many of us chase it blindly, only to find ourselves trapped by the very thing we thought would bring fulfillment. This chapter will deconstruct the illusion of success, explore why it fails to satisfy, and offer a new, more empowering way to define achievement. Success is often portrayed as a fixed destination. It's a checklist, a prestigious job, a big house, a hefty bank account. Society conditions us to believe that once we achieve these milestones, we'll experience lasting happiness. Yet, for so many people, reaching these goals only leads to disillusionment. Take the story of Mark, a high-powered attorney who seemed to have it all. He worked tirelessly, earned a 7-figure salary, and lived in a luxury penthouse. But despite his achievements, he felt an unshakable emptiness. Every new accomplishment brought only temporary satisfaction, leaving him hungrier for the next. Mark's story is a cautionary tale about the endless chase for external validation. Why does conventional success fail us? The problem lies in its source. Traditional success metrics are externally defined. They come from societal norms, cultural expectations, and comparisons to others. This external focus strips us of agency, leading us to chase goals that don't align with our authentic selves. For example, the idea that success equals financial wealth is deeply ingrained. While financial stability is important, equating money with happiness is a trap. Studies have shown that beyond a certain point, increased income has little impact on emotional well-being. Yet, the illusion persists, fueled by media, advertising, and social pressure. Another reason conventional success is unsatisfying is the happiness paradox. This paradox suggests that the harder we chase happiness, the more elusive it becomes. When we tie happiness to external achievements, we create a moving target. Once we reach one milestone, we set another, perpetuating a cycle of dissatisfaction. Consider Sarah, a young entrepreneur who built a successful business. She told herself that selling the company would make her happy. When she finally sold it for millions, the joy was fleeting. Instead of celebrating, she felt lost, unsure of what to do next. Her experience highlights the danger of pinning happiness on external outcomes. To escape the illusion, we must redefine success on our terms. This means shifting from external validation to internal fulfillment. True success is not about meeting societal standards, it's about living a life aligned with your values, passions, and purpose. Here are 3 principles to guide this redefinition. 1. Authenticity. Base your goals on your true desires, not societal expectations. Ask yourself, what do I genuinely want? 2. Growth. Focus on personal development and the journey, rather than the destination. Success is a byproduct of consistent growth. 3. Contribution. Measure success by the impact you have on others. How are you using your talents to make a positive difference? I used to measure success by the standards of my industry, accolades, income, and prestige. But no matter how much I achieved, it never felt like enough. My turning point came when I realized my definition of success was borrowed. It didn't reflect my true self. I began to focus on what mattered most to me: creativity, connection, and making a meaningful impact. Redefining success was liberating. It allowed me to pursue goals that energized me and brought genuine fulfillment. Meet Alex, a former corporate executive who left his high-paying job to start a nonprofit. To outsiders, it seemed like a step down, but Alex felt freer and more fulfilled than ever. His new work aligned with his values, giving him a sense of purpose that money couldn't buy. Alex's story illustrates that true success isn't about accumulation, it's about alignment. Here are 3 exercises to help you redefine success. 1. Define your values. List your top 5 personal values. Use these as a compass to evaluate your goals. Do your current pursuits align with these values? 2. Reflect on fulfillment. Write down moments when you felt most fulfilled. What were you doing and why did it matter? Identify patterns in these experiences. 3. Create an impact plan. Think about how you want to contribute to the world. List 3 ways you can use your talents to make a positive impact on others. Redefining success frees you from societal pressures and allows you to live with intention. It shifts your focus from pleasing others to pursuing what genuinely matters to you. When success is self-defined, it becomes a source of empowerment rather than a burden. Imagine waking up each day with clarity and purpose, knowing that your efforts align with your authentic self. This is the freedom that comes from breaking the illusion of success. It's not about abandoning ambition, but about ensuring that your ambition serves your highest values. This week, choose one goal in your life and redefine it based on your values and passions. Ask yourself, does this goal reflect what I truly want, or is it rooted in societal expectations? Make adjustments to ensure it aligns with your authentic self. This small step can lead to profound changes in how you approach success. Chapter 4. Unlocking the Power of Choice. Life is full of choices, yet many of us feel trapped, believing we have no control over our circumstances. But the truth is, that choice is the most powerful tool we have to create meaningful change. In this chapter, we'll explore how to recognize the choices you're already making, confront the fear of making the wrong ones, and use your power of choice to design a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. One of the most common reasons people stay stuck is the belief that they have no choice. This myth stems from societal conditioning, fear of change, and a lack of self-awareness. Phrases like "I have to" or "I can't" dominate our inner dialogue, convincing us that external forces control our lives. Consider John, who stayed in a soul-draining job for a decade because he believed he had no alternative. "I have bills to pay," he told himself. Quitting isn't an option. But when his company downsized, John was forced to confront this belief. Without the job, he realized he could explore freelance work, pursue his passion for writing, and still meet his financial obligations. Losing the job revealed what had been true all along: John had choices, he just couldn't see them. Every day, you make countless choices, often without realizing it. The clothes you wear, the food you eat, the people you spend time with, all are decisions. Even choosing not to act is a choice. Recognizing this is empowering because it shifts the narrative from being a passive participant in life to an active creator. Here are 3 steps to become more aware of your choices. 1. Pay attention. Start noticing the small decisions you make daily. These choices reflect your priorities and habits. 2. Question your defaults. Ask yourself, why am I choosing this? Often our choices are driven by routine or fear rather than intention. 3. Own your decisions. Take responsibility for your choices, even when they're difficult. This mindset fosters empowerment rather than blame. Fear is one of the biggest barriers to exercising the power of choice. What if you make the wrong decision? What if it leads to failure or regret? These questions often keep people paralyzed, choosing inaction over risk. But here's the secret. There's no such thing as a perfect choice. Every decision comes with uncertainty. What matters is your willingness to adapt, learn, and grow from the outcomes of your choices. Consider Emily, who hesitated to start her own business because she feared failure. For years, she stayed in a job she disliked, feeling safe but unfulfilled. When she finally took the leap, her first business venture didn't succeed. But the experience taught her invaluable lessons about resilience, creativity, and resourcefulness. Her second attempt was wildly successful. Emily's story illustrates that even wrong choices can lead to the right destination. To unlock the power of choice, you need a framework that helps you make decisions with confidence. Here's a simple 3-step process. 1. Clarify your values. Before making any decision, identify what matters most to you. Use your values as a compass to guide your choices. 2. Weigh the costs and benefits. Consider the potential risks and rewards of each option. Focus on long-term fulfillment rather than short-term comfort. 3. Commit to action. Once you've made a decision, commit fully. Second-guessing yourself only creates doubt and hesitation. Several years ago, I faced a pivotal choice: stay in a stable but unfulfilling career or take a risk on a passion project. The safer option was tempting. It offered financial security and predictability. But deep down, I knew it wasn't aligned with my values of creativity and growth. Making the choice to leave wasn't easy. It meant stepping into uncertainty and facing the possibility of failure. But that decision became the foundation for a life that truly reflects who I am. It taught me that the discomfort of risk is far outweighed by the joy of living authentically. Meet David, a successful engineer who felt unfulfilled despite his accomplishments. When he had the opportunity to relocate for a promotion, he faced a tough choice. Staying meant comfort and familiarity, leaving meant adventure and growth. After much reflection, David chose to move. The transition wasn't without challenges, but it opened doors he never expected. He discovered a love for teaching, built meaningful relationships, and developed a deeper sense of purpose. David's story highlights the transformative power of choosing growth over fear. Here are 3 exercises to help you harness your power of choice. 1. The Decision Journal. When faced with a significant choice, write down your options, the reasoning behind each, and your predicted outcomes. Revisit these notes later to evaluate your decision-making process. 2. Visualization. Imagine yourself 5 years from now after making a specific choice. Does this vision align with your ideal future? 3. The 101-0-10 rule. Ask yourself how you'll feel about the decision in 10 days, 10 months, and 10 years. This perspective helps you prioritize long-term impact over short-term emotions. When you embrace the power of choice, you reclaim control over your life. You stop living on autopilot and start creating a path that reflects your true self. Each intentional choice brings you closer to a life of purpose, fulfillment, and freedom. Imagine waking up each day knowing that your actions align with your values and aspirations. This is the power of choice, the ability to design a life that feels authentically yours. This week, identify one area of your life where you've been avoiding a decision. It could be a career change, a relationship, or a personal goal. Take time to reflect, clarify your values, and make a choice. Even small steps can lead to profound transformations. Chapter 5. Thinking differently. Every breakthrough begins with a new way of thinking. While we often inherit beliefs and habits from society, family, and culture, true freedom requires stepping outside these norms and forging our own mental paths. In this chapter, we will explore how to cultivate a mindset of curiosity, question assumptions, and embrace creative problem solving to think differently and unlock new possibilities. How you see the world shapes how you experience it. Many of us approach life through a narrow lens, shaped by our upbringing, education, and personal experiences. While this lens provides structure and familiarity, it can also limit our ability to see alternative possibilities. Consider Emma, who worked tirelessly in a corporate job she didn't love. She believed her only path to success was climbing the corporate ladder. But when her company offered a sabbatical program, she reluctantly took time off and traveled. This break shifted her perspective, showing her new ways to create value and live with purpose. Today, Emma runs a successful remote consultancy, blending work and travel in ways she never imagined. The first step to thinking differently is to question the assumptions you've always accepted as true. Assumptions are mental shortcuts. helping us make sense of the world, but when left unexamined, they become barriers to growth. Ask yourself, what beliefs do I hold about success, happiness, or fulfillment? Who taught me these beliefs? Do they align with my values? What would happen if these beliefs weren't true? Challenging assumptions opens the door to new possibilities. For instance, many people assume that entrepreneurship is too risky or that creativity is only for artists. By questioning these narratives, you might discover opportunities to start a side hustle or rekindle a forgotten passion for painting. Our brains are wired for efficiency, often defaulting to familiar patterns of thought. While this saves energy, it also makes it difficult to break free from old habits. To think differently, you must disrupt these patterns and create space for new ideas. Here are 3 techniques to break mental patterns. 1. Change your environment. A new setting can inspire fresh thinking. Visit a park, a museum, or a coffee shop you've never been to. Surrounding yourself with new stimuli can spark creativity. 2. Ask better questions. Replace "why can't I" with "how could I." Reframing challenges as opportunities shifts your focus to solutions. 3. Engage with diverse perspectives. Seek out conversations, books, or experiences that challenge your worldview. Exposure to different ways of thinking broadens your mental horizons. Curiosity is the engine of innovation. When you approach life with a sense of wonder, you're more likely to discover unconventional solutions to problems. Cultivating curiosity means embracing the unknown and viewing challenges as opportunities to learn. Take the story of Thomas Edison, who famously conducted over 1,000 experiments before inventing the light bulb. Edison's success wasn't due to innate brilliance but an insatiable curiosity and willingness to fail repeatedly. His mindset exemplifies the power of thinking differently. When I was faced with a career crossroads, my initial instinct was to follow the safest path. But deep down I felt restless, yearning for something more meaningful. I began asking myself questions I'd never considered. What if I prioritized passion over security? What if failure wasn't the worst outcome? This shift in thinking led me to take risks I'd previously avoided. I launched a project that aligned with my values, and while the journey was challenging, it was also deeply fulfilling. That experience taught me that thinking differently isn't about being reckless, it's about being intentional and open-minded. Meet Sarah, an elementary school teacher who struggled to keep her students engaged. Traditional teaching methods weren't working, and she felt stuck. Instead of giving up, Sarah adopted an innovator's mindset. She questioned the assumption that learning had to happen in a classroom. Sarah introduced outdoor lessons and collaborative projects, integrating creativity and play into her teaching. The results were transformative. Her students became more engaged, and their performance improved. Sarah's story illustrates how thinking differently can solve problems and create new opportunities. Practical tools to cultivate new thinking. 1. The 10 Ideas Exercise. Every day, write down 10 ideas on a topic, no matter how impractical they seem. This practice strengthens your creative muscles. 2. Mind mapping. Start with a central idea or problem and create a visual map of related thoughts and solutions. This technique helps you see connections you might otherwise miss. 3. Reverse assumptions. Identify a common belief or practice and imagine its opposite. How might this reversal create new possibilities? When you learn to think differently, you break free from the mental confines that limit your potential. You begin to see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and possibilities where others see obstacles. This mindset shift not only fosters innovation but also empowers you to live authentically. Imagine waking up with a sense of curiosity and excitement, knowing that your thoughts and actions are aligned with your true self. This is the freedom that comes from breaking mental patterns and embracing new ways of thinking. This week, identify one assumption you've held about your life, career, or relationships. Question its validity and explore alternatives. Write down how this shift in perspective could open new doors. Taking this step can ignite a chain reaction of transformative thinking. Chapter 6. Escaping the Mental Prison. The most formidable prisons are the ones we build in our minds. Limiting beliefs, self-doubt, and fear of failure create mental barriers that confine us. These barriers are not made of steel but of thoughts, habits, and assumptions that feel just as impenetrable. In this chapter, we'll explore how to recognize and dismantle these mental prisons, freeing ourselves to pursue a life of growth and possibility. A mental prison is built from repeated thoughts that form entrenched beliefs. Over time, these beliefs harden into truths that dictate your actions. Consider the belief, I'm not good enough. It may start as a fleeting thought but, reinforced over time, becomes a cage that prevents you from trying new things or pursuing your dreams. Mental prisons are often fueled by 1. Negative self-talk. The constant internal narrative that highlights your flaws and failures. 2. Fear of failure. The belief that mistakes define you and must be avoided at all costs. 3. Comparison. Measuring your worth against others, which breeds insecurity and envy. The first step to escaping a mental prison is awareness. You can't dismantle walls you don't see. Pay attention to your thoughts and the language you use with yourself. Are your inner dialogues supportive or critical? Are your decisions driven by fear or possibility? Consider Julia, a talented artist who avoided showcasing her work because she believed it wasn't good enough. Her mental prison kept her in isolation, afraid of judgment. When she started journaling her fears, she realized they stemmed from a childhood experience where her art was criticized. This awareness was the key to breaking free. Fear is a cornerstone of mental prisons. It whispers worst-case scenarios, amplifies self-doubt, and keeps you tethered to the familiar. But fear is often a poor predictor of reality. Many of the things we fear never come to pass, and even when they do, we're often more resilient than we imagine. To confront fear, ask yourself, what am I truly afraid of? What is the worst that could happen? How likely is that outcome, and what could I do to recover if it occurred? By dissecting fear, you strip it of its power, turning it from a paralyzing force into a manageable challenge. Self-doubt is another common barrier in mental prisons. It's the voice that says you're not smart enough, or you'll never succeed. These thoughts often arise from past failures or criticism but do not define your future. To combat self-doubt. 1. Challenge negative thoughts. When self-doubt creeps in, counter it with evidence of your capabilities. Reflect on past successes and strengths. 2. Reframe failure. View mistakes as opportunities to learn rather than proof of inadequacy. 3. Take small steps. Build confidence by tackling small, achievable goals. Each success reinforces your belief in your abilities. Your inner dialogue shapes your reality. If your mental script is filled with negativity and limitations, it's time for a rewrite. Replace self-critical thoughts with affirmations that align with your goals and values. For example, instead of thinking, I'll never succeed, try, I am capable of learning and growing. Affirmations may feel unnatural at first, but over time they rewire your brain to adopt a more empowering perspective. For years, I was trapped in a mental prison of perfectionism. I believed that if I couldn't do something perfectly, it wasn't worth doing at all. This mindset kept me from pursuing opportunities and sharing my work with others. My turning point came when a mentor told me that done is better than perfect. That simple phrase challenged my belief and encouraged me to take imperfect action. As I began to embrace progress over perfection, I discovered that my failures were often my greatest teachers. This shift liberated me from the confines of perfectionism and allowed me to grow. Meet Daniel, an aspiring entrepreneur who hesitated to launch his business because he feared failure. His mental prison was built on the belief that success required certainty and perfection. To overcome this, Daniel adopted a growth mindset. He started small, testing his ideas with minimal risk. Each experiment provided valuable insights and boosted his confidence. Today, Daniel runs a thriving business, proving that escaping mental prisons begins with small, courageous steps. Practical tools to escape mental prisons. 1. The thought audit. Spend a week tracking your thoughts. Identify recurring patterns of negativity or limitation. Challenge these thoughts with evidence and reframe them positively. 2. Visualization. Imagine yourself breaking through a specific mental barrier. Visualize the freedom and possibilities on the other side. 3. The fear ladder. Write down your fears, ranking them from least to most intimidating. Start by confronting smaller fears and gradually building the courage to tackle bigger challenges. Escaping mental prisons unlocks a world of potential. When you dismantle limiting beliefs, you create space for growth, creativity, and fulfillment. You begin to approach life with a sense of possibility rather than restriction. Imagine living without the weight of self-doubt or the chains of fear. Picture yourself pursuing your passions, taking risks, and embracing new opportunities. This freedom isn't just a dream, it's the reality that awaits when you free your mind. This week, Identify one limiting belief that has been holding you back. Write it down, question its validity, and replace it with an empowering thought. Take one small action that aligns with this new belief. Each step you take brings you closer to freedom. Chapter 7. Designing a Life of Freedom. Freedom is not a destination, it is a lifestyle. Once you have dismantled the mental prisons that held you back, the next step is to intentionally design a life aligned with your values, passions, and purpose. In this chapter, we will explore how to build this life of freedom through intentionality, flexibility, and commitment to growth. True freedom begins with clarity. Without a clear understanding of what matters most to you, even unlimited choices can feel overwhelming. Think of freedom as a house. It needs a solid foundation, built from your core values and priorities. Start by asking yourself, what brings me joy and fulfillment? What do I want my life to stand for? How do I want to spend my time and energy? By answering these questions, you create a blueprint for your ideal life. This blueprint becomes your guide, helping you make decisions that align with your vision of freedom. Designing a life of freedom requires trade-offs. You cannot do everything, nor should you try. The key is to focus on what matters most and let go of what doesn't serve your vision. Take Maria, who spent years juggling a demanding career, family obligations, and an overflowing social calendar. She felt trapped by her commitments, constantly pulled in different directions. When Maria took the time to reflect, she realized that her true priorities were spending quality time with her family and pursuing her passion for photography. By saying no to unnecessary obligations, she created the space to focus on what truly mattered. Freedom is not about rigidly adhering to a plan. It's about creating a framework that allows for adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and designing a life of freedom means being open to change and willing to pivot when necessary. Consider James, who planned to travel the world after retiring early. When unforeseen health challenges disrupted his plans, James adapted by exploring local adventures and pursuing new hobbies. His ability to remain flexible allowed him to continue living a life of freedom, even when circumstances changed. Habits play a crucial role in designing a life of freedom. Small, consistent actions can create momentum and lead to significant transformations over time. Focus on building habits that align with your vision of freedom, such as 1. Time management. Prioritize tasks that align with your goals and values. Use tools like calendars and to-do lists to stay focused. 2. Financial discipline. Freedom often requires financial stability. Create a budget, save for the future, and invest in experiences that enrich your life. 3. Personal growth. Commit to lifelong learning and self-improvement. Read, take courses, and seek opportunities to expand your horizons. One of the most important aspects of freedom is learning to set boundaries. Without clear boundaries, it's easy to become overcommitted and lose sight of your priorities. For example, Sarah, a freelance designer, found herself constantly saying yes to clients, leaving little time for her personal projects. By establishing boundaries, such as limiting work hours and taking weekends off, she regained control over her schedule and rediscovered her creativity. When I first began designing my life of freedom, I struggled with saying no. I felt obligated to meet others' expectations, even when they conflicted with my own priorities. Over time, I realized that every yes to something unaligned with my vision was a no to my goals. By practicing intentionality and setting firm boundaries, I created a life that reflects my values. Today, I spend my time on meaningful work, nurturing relationships, and pursuing passions that energize me. This intentional approach has brought me a profound sense of freedom. Meet Alex, a corporate executive who dreamed of a simpler life. He wanted to spend more time with his family and pursue his love of woodworking. However, Alex felt trapped by his high-paying job and the expectations of his peers. After much reflection, Alex decided to downsize his lifestyle, reducing his financial obligations. This allowed him to transition to part-time consulting, giving him the flexibility to focus on his family and hobbies. Alex's story shows that designing a life of freedom often requires bold choices and a willingness to redefine success. Here are 3 exercises to help you create a life of freedom. 1. The life audit. Evaluate how you spend your time, energy, and money. Identify areas that align with your values and those that don't. Make adjustments to prioritize what matters most. 2. Vision boarding. Create a visual representation of your ideal life. Use images, words, and symbols to capture your goals and aspirations. 3. The Freedom Plan. Write a detailed plan for your life of freedom, including specific goals, actionable steps, and timelines. Revisit and adjust this plan regularly. Living a life of freedom doesn't mean every day is perfect. Challenges and setbacks will still arise. However, when your life is intentionally designed, these challenges become easier to navigate. You're guided by a clear vision and a sense of purpose, giving you the resilience to overcome obstacles. Imagine waking up each day excited to pursue your passions, spend time with loved ones, and explore new possibilities. This is the joy of a life designed with intention and freedom. This week, take one step toward designing your life of freedom. It could be as simple as setting a boundary, starting a new habit, or reflecting on your values. Small actions add up, and each step brings you closer to the life you envision. Chapter 8. Living Beyond the Trap. Breaking free from the traps of life is a profound accomplishment, but true transformation happens when you learn to live beyond the trap. Freedom is not just about escaping limitations, it's about thriving in alignment with your values and continuously evolving. In this final chapter, we'll explore how to sustain your newfound freedom, embrace lifelong growth, and inspire others to do the same. Freedom is a practice, not a one-time achievement. The habits and mindsets you cultivate daily are what allow you to maintain a life of purpose and fulfillment. Here are 3 key practices to sustain your freedom. 1. Reflection. Regularly reflect on your life to ensure your actions align with your values. Journaling or meditation can help you stay grounded and intentional. 2. Adaptation. Life is dynamic, and so is freedom. Embrace change and be willing to adjust your goals and priorities as you grow. 3. Gratitude. Cultivating gratitude helps you focus on the positives in your life and reinforces a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Living beyond the trap requires a commitment to lifelong growth. Growth isn't about striving for perfection, it's about continually learning, experimenting, and expanding your perspective. Consider Peter, a retired engineer who once believed his best years were behind him. Instead of settling into a passive routine, Peter embraced growth by learning a new language and volunteering with local youth programs. This renewed sense of purpose gave Peter a more fulfilling retirement than he ever imagined. When you live beyond the trap, your actions inspire others to do the same. Freedom is contagious. By sharing your journey, you create a ripple effect that empowers those around you. Take Rachel, who left her corporate job to start a nonprofit supporting women entrepreneurs. Her bold decision inspired her friends and colleagues to reevaluate their own lives. Today, many of them have followed her lead, creating meaningful changes in their own paths. Sustaining freedom is easier when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who share your values and vision. A supportive community provides encouragement, accountability, and inspiration. Consider joining groups or networks aligned with your interests, whether they focus on personal development, creativity, or social impact. These connections can help you stay motivated and continuously grow. After breaking free from my own traps, I initially felt a sense of uncertainty. Freedom was exhilarating but also unfamiliar. It took time to find my footing and redefine what living authentically meant for me. I realized that freedom wasn't about perfection or constant happiness, it was about being fully present and aligned with my values. By embracing growth, connecting with a supportive community, and staying true to my vision, I created a life that feels both meaningful and expansive. Meet Daniel, a teacher who transformed his approach to education after breaking free from his limiting beliefs. He shifted from traditional methods to project-based learning, empowering his students to think critically and solve real-world problems. Daniel's impact extended beyond the classroom, as many of his students went on to become leaders in their communities. Daniel's story highlights the power of living beyond the trap. When you align your life with your values, your influence extends far beyond your personal sphere. Here are 3 strategies to help you sustain your freedom and continue growing. 1. The quarterly check-in. Every 3 months, set aside time to review your goals, habits, and values. Ask yourself, are my actions aligned with my vision? What adjustments can I make? 2. The growth journal. Document your progress, challenges, and lessons learned. This practice reinforces your commitment to growth and helps you track your evolution. 3. The freedom map. Create a visual representation of your goals and milestones. Use this map to celebrate your achievements and plan your next steps. Living beyond the trap means embracing the fullness of life, its challenges, joys, and uncertainties. It's about stepping into your potential and making the most of every moment. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of purpose and excitement, knowing that you are living authentically and contributing to the world in meaningful ways. This is the essence of a life beyond the trap. As you continue your journey, think about how you can inspire others. Share your story, mentor someone, or contribute to a cause that aligns with your values. By empowering others, you create a legacy of freedom that extends far beyond your own life. Take care, and be well.